Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakah HaKodash. I'm the brother Malak Tamayim Yahweh, coming back at you with another lesson through the Spirit. And the Lord told us in Matthew 24 that as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And when you go back into the days of Noah, he was prophesying and telling them for about 100 years that the Lord was going to flood the earth, because at that time it was just a mist, that would come and, water the grass and everything, water the plants and everything. The Lord let down a mist, a dew. That's why to this day, you come out in the morning, you're going to see like a little bit of a dew on the grass, which I'm out here right now. And you can still see that mist. Con, let's go get that. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord Yahweh had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. That's right, and that still is to this day. All right. That's how, even though regardless if it rains or not, the grass and all these different herbs are still fed with that water. Which is very spiritual, man. That's how you know this word is true. All right. Where's that at? It's not gonna go out void. I think it's in Isaiah. Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. That's right. So the word does not go out void. Everything that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has spoken of is going to prosper and come to pass. It may not come at the time we want it, but it will come to pass. Because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, but the angels of heaven. Not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, right? So, what were they doing in the days of Noah? Wickedness was greatly, evil was multiplied in the earth. All right, that's why the Lord said he's going to destroy man and beast. And just meditating on this place, Micah 2 and 10, it is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall be destroyed with a sore destruction. And this place is polluted with all sorts of madness, man. You got pretty much, they're turning things upside down, right? Isaiah 29:16. Surely the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. All right. Making good evil and evil good. Isaiah 10 and 20, I believe. And just declaring unrighteous decrees. All right. Allowing wickedness to pretty much impermeate the earth with impunity. I was watching this Edomite talk about how he killed 30 people. And he's like, oh, I belong in here, talking about in prison. No, you should be dead. But this place is slack on judgment. A person could kill a bunch of people and just get free room and board. No, man. You know, you're going to get put to death in front of everybody. All right, that's righteous judgment. Nevertheless, this Genesis 6 and 5, and the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, right? And the wickedness of man is great in the earth again. That's why it says in Ecclesiastes 3 and 1, all right, there's no new thing under the sun. Because the things that were going on in the ancient world, I'm sorry, not 3, Isaiah 1 and 9. Isaiah 1 and 9. The thing that have been, it is which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun, right? So, pretty much, that's why the Lord said it's going to be as the days of Noah were. Because you can always attribute something in the scriptures to the Old Testament. Remember, the Lord wasn't speaking and doing away with the Old Testament. Everything that they referred back to was always talking about Abraham, talking about Noah, talking about the patriarchs, the holy righteous men of old. Because they are those holy righteous men of old coming back in the reincarnation. All right. As we were just reading in Ecclesiastes, there's no new thing under the sun. The thing is talking about the spirit. All right. The spirit that houses the bodies that houses our spirit comes back and forth. It's the flesh that goes to the ground, to hell. All right. But we are the same spirits coming back again and prophesying again, Lord willing. We be of that number and be of that righteous sheepfold of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. Which I pray that upon my household, that the Lord sanction is valid for salvation. All right, reserve salvation unto us, but it's based upon predestination also. Before anything was ever created, the Lord already knew and chose who was his elect. This Genesis 6 and 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Right? You know, just set out in full-on rebellion. You know, we all have evil thoughts. We all have weaknesses in the flesh. But we try to keep our mind balanced and, you know, display some type of devotion towards the Yahweh Shema Shai. Faith, belief, hope in Yahweh Shema Shai. We don't hope in this world. We use the world as not abusing it. Nevertheless, our mind is not with this world, because we already know what's getting ready to take place. The RFID micro C-hip. All right. Revelation 13 and 16. The breaking down of this economy. Isaiah chapter 19. You know, there shall be no more work for Egypt. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3. The keepers of the house tremble. All right. So this system is getting ready to break down, or within its last stages, in the depths of this place. As a matter of fact, it talks about that in the book of Daniel. It said, thou art found wanted in the balances. Thou art weighed in the balances, and thou art found wanting. Okay? Tekel, a parson. Many, because this place is pretty much finished. Daniel chapter 5. What the fuck? In verse Daniel chapter 5 and verse 24. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, Tekel a parson. This is the interpretation of the thing. The Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Peres, the kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians, right? And we know that that's talking about what? Babylon the Great. Because after Babylon the Great was the Medo-Persian Empire. Then it was the Greek Empire that took over the Medo-Persians. And then it was the Roman Empire. So this is talking about Babylon. Alright? The king of the Chaldeans. Alright, the Chaldeans' excellency. Let me go grab that. Because you can attribute that to America. You know, people don't even know what they're talking about. I hear this guy on the Corey Holcomb show talking about the Chaldeans, attributing them to be Arabs. But you did have, you know, Babylon the Great was in modern day Iraq. Nevertheless, this also attributes to Esau, Edom. Alright, because Babylon just means confusion. That's why the scripture talks about Babylon the Great. Where is that at? Chaldeans' excellency. Yep, Isaiah 13. I don't know how I missed that one. Yeah, Isaiah 13 is a heavy chapter on the destruction of America. It's not even in here. Alright. Right, because we know that the modern day Medes is the Russians. Alright, because ancient Babylon was not overthrown through fire and brimstone. Alright? It was not to the point where it's never been inhabited again. Alright? People are still living there. That's why it talks about that, and it has become the habitation of doleful creatures and all of that. Because America, Babylon the Great, is going to be completely ground zero. This Isaiah 13 and 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, as for their gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. What are the bows? Those are the nuclear missiles. Intercontinental ballistic missiles known as arrows. Alright. And they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, right, which is America, at the top of food chain. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall Arabian pitch tent there, and that's the point. Alright, because you got Arabs over there in Iraq right now, and call themselves, this guy calling them the Chaldeans, trying to sound smart. Nevertheless, these scriptures can be a stumbling block to some, because the Chaldeans that it's talking about right here is the Edomites. Alright? It's talking about America. This is Babylon the Great. That's why it calls it Mystery Babylon. But see, the Lord, He showeth His secret unto the prophets. He don't be revealing it to everybody. Alright? That's why it's called Mystery Babylon. Alright? Because for many years, nobody knew what the Lord was talking about. So the Lord opened up our minds to receive the Rakah HaKodash through His blood. Revelation 17 and 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Right, and this is the place that's going to be destroyed with nuclear missile fire. Alright, Babylon the Great. All right. So just going into what we were reading in Daniel, the 5th chapter, the kingdom is divided and given to the immediate Persians. All right. All right. We talk about Babylon, the wise men of Babylon. Okay. And this is the same thing in Isaiah 47. Daniel chapter 5 and verse 7. The king cried aloud to bring in astrologers to the Chaldeans and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this thing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and with a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Right. And the only one that was able to interpret that, all right, was Daniel. Letting you know that the Lord speaks through the mouth of his prophets. Since the world began, it talks about that in Luke. All right. Let's go to Isaiah 47 real quick, because see how they seeked out the astrologers and the soothsayers. So the same thing right here about the daughter of Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, the daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. This is talking about America, Babylon the Great. All right. All right, none of that shit's gonna work. These devils, they get down with the sorcery and enchantments as well. They're into all types of witchcraft and warlockery. All right. Isaiah 47 and 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from all these things that shall come upon thee. It's not. All right. As we was reading Isaiah 13, this place still going to be destroyed to the ground, to the dust. All right. And as we was going into, it says, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, in houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's right. Okay. The Lord said, they shall build up, but I will throw down. In the book of Malachi 1 and 4. All right, how it be a heritage for waste and for the dragons of the wilderness. And that's Esau, Edom. That's prophesied against. Even Malachi spoke about this. And I hated Esau, Malachi 1:3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. All right. And that's what the Lord just is speaking about. He's speaking about Esau, Edom. All right. This modern day Babylon the Great. All right. Here it is again in Isaiah 34, where the Lord is speaking specifically about Esau, Edom, and how they are the Babylon. Isaiah 34 and 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Even Isaiah 63 attributes the destruction and return of the Lord to Esau, Edom. He said, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? All right. Which a lot of these people, they don't want to deal with it because it's the truth. And shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse the judgment. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made with fat. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys and rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Idumea is another way of saying Edom. I'm going to jump down to verse. Really, the point is in 11, but I'm going to start at verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Right, those arrows by the Medes, it's going to turn into Sodom and Gomorrah, it's like burnt up, fire and brimstone. It shall not be quenched day nor night. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. Right, same thing. All right, it's going to lie waste. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. That shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, and none shall be there, and all her princes shall be as nothing. See, it's not gonna be a thing anymore. The Lord is pretty much gonna lay it empty, like the Lord said, He's gonna lay it wholly desolate. And thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof. And it shall be an habitation of dragons, and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island. And the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there and find herself a place of rest. There shall the great owl make her nest and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one to his mate. So this is what's going to happen, okay? All right. None of this is going to fail. It's all going to come to pass. That's why it talks about that in the book of Revelation as well. All right. How Babylon had been the cage of every foul beast and every hateful bird. All right. Because it's going to be laid waste. All right. And full of those dragons. All right. Revelation 18:2, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. This is after the nuclear missiles destroyed that shit, right? And has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird, right? Like those owls, those satyrs, you know, all of that stuff, ravens and all that, right? So it's not going to be a place that's inhabited. All right, when you think about ravens signify death. Okay. All right. Ravens means death because they are scavengers that gathered over ancient battlefield for dead bodies. People saw their dark feathers and loud calls as signs of doom, man. All right. So it said that there's gonna be ravens over there. Why do you think there's gonna be ravens over there? Because ravens eat dead shit. They're trying to show us some stupid shit about the NFL. Okay, this is what it's gonna become full of: ravens, owls. You know, things that pick at dead shit. All right, they're scavengers. All right, pretty much just gonna be laid waste, man. So we understand that the screech owl and all of that, right? So going back into Genesis 6, right? Because this is the point that I want to get at. Remember, the Lord brought a mist, right? The Lord says, the days are nowhere, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Wickedness is great in the earth right now. The thoughts of everybody's heart is evil continually, right? And the Lord said He's going to destroy everything as well once again. But by way of the nuclear missiles, intercontinental ballistic hypersonic missiles. All right. But what happened was Noah was shut in. Just like the Lord is going to shut in the elect. All right. So it was the chariot that closed the door, and it's going to be the same. A lot of the stuff is actually time sensitive, so it's going to be the same situation at that time when the chariot beam up the elect. It's going to take some, it's going to leave others. Okay. Says passing over, He preserved it.
How we doing, sir?
All right, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Passing over, He preserved it. All right. It says that they went in, and they that went in male and things that's outside of that is not found, that wasn't found in the eyes of the Lord with that grace will be destroyed. So where's that at? I know it's in Isaiah. And the elect is just like Noah. Alright, the Lord also wants to beam up the elect and shut them in. Alright. Where is it at? I think it's in 29. 26. Yep, here it is. Shut that door. Alright. Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, till the indignation be overpassed. And that's how it's going to be. That's why I talked about that in Revelation 5. That they're going to be singing the song of Moses, which Moses was pretty much carried over, delivered through the Red Sea. And then the Egyptians was destroyed, and then when the Lord closed down the Red Sea, that's in Exodus 15. It's the same thing. It's just another Exodus from this current Egypt. Alright, which is synonymous with bondage. It says, behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth. We know who's ruling the earth right now. Job 9:24, the wicked. He said, the earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty much straight to the point. Anybody that wouldn't be able to understand that,